My half-sister and I plunged into the lake together. My fiancé anxiously shielded my half-sister, allowing me to emerge from the scene, drenched and stripped of my dignity in front of the crowd. I suddenly realized that childhood companions are not to be relied upon. Li Shuhua, could you perhaps temper your haughty temperament and learn from your sister's gentle and submissive nature? This is the essence of being a wife. Thus, on the day of our grand wedding, my half-sister and I exchanged bridal palanquins, fulfilling his desire. Yet, on the following day, why did he storm to the door, his eyes aflame with a ferocious intensity? 1. The icy waters of the lake enveloped me instantly, swallowing my mouth and nose in a torrent, as my body sank deeper into the abyss. Ah, someone save me! The frantic cries and screams of the passengers aboard the boat echoed in my ears, followed by a resounding splash. For a fleeting moment, panic seized me, but the instinct for survival swiftly reignited my memory of floating, and I began to swim toward the vessel. Just as my head broke the surface, I spotted a familiar dark figure swiftly approaching. My heart leapt at the sight of him, and I instinctively reached out a feeble hand, calling, "Xiao Yinian." Yet, the man glided past me without a glance, not even sparing me a backward glance. My outstretched hand hung limply in the air. I could only watch, dazed, as Xiao Yinian swam urgently to my half-sister, Li Wanru. He scooped her into his arms, heading toward the shore. Sensing the trembling of the woman in his embrace, he reassured her, "Don't be afraid, Wanru. I will get you to safety at once." This scene was so painfully vivid that I momentarily forgot my own desperate struggle for survival, witnessing my fiancé abandon me to rescue my half-sister instead. Before we even reached the boat, Xiao Yinian had wrapped his outer garment securely around her. The space aboard was too cramped for anyone to assist me, and a group of pampered young gentlemen were unlikely to jump in to save me. Ultimately, I had to haul myself back onto the boat, soaked to the skin. My long hair clung to my body in disarray. In the summer heat, my thin clothes offered no concealment, even revealing hints of the crimson garments beneath. Many young men cast curious glances my way, lingering on my disheveled state. "TSK, Miss Lee has quite a figure," one of them remarked. 2. Amidst the crowd, a debauched young master leered at me, his gaze seemingly penetrating through my damp attire, uncovering my very essence. He smiled at Xiao Yinian, feigning courtesy with a mock bow. "Xiao Gongzi is indeed fortunate. Once wed, your blessings will be abundant, a source of envy for us all." Despite my naturally proud disposition, the importance of a woman's honor weighed heavily on me. Being subjected to such scrutiny in my vulnerable state was profoundly humiliating. Fury and embarrassment coursed through me. I instinctively wrapped my arms around myself, desperately searching for a familiar figure, my eyes pleading, "Yinian." In that moment, I yearned for someone to whisk me away, shielding me from the prying eyes of others. Yet, Xiao Yinian remained fixated on enveloping Li Wanru with his outer garment, guarding her from unwanted gazes. Upon hearing the young master's taunts, his expression darkened. In a fit of anger, he barked at me, "What are you still doing here? Hurry back to the boat and change your clothes. You're making a fool of yourself." My body stiffened as the wind chilled my drenched attire, sending shivers from my core to my toes. Li Wanru's face turned pale, her hair cascading delicately against her cheeks, trembling like a fragile blossom. She tugged at the man's sleeve, crying, "Xiao Gij, I was so scared. I almost drowned." "Don't be afraid, Wanru. I'll take you home right away," he said, bending down to comfort her softly. Without sparing me another glance, he hoisted her up and strode away. I could only curl up helplessly on the boat's deck, tears welling in my eyes, blurring my vision. I bit my lip fiercely, determined not to let the tears fall, tasting the metallic tang of blood. In that moment, I felt a profound awakening. The cherished bond of childhood affection had turned to disillusionment. Xiao Yinian had utterly disappointed me. I no longer desired such a fiancé. 3. Eventually, the maid left behind on the shore received word and hurried over with a cloak to take me away. Upon returning home, I learned that Xiao Yinian had personally escorted my half-sister back and was currently attending to her with a physician. I waited until dusk before finally encountering him, who arrived late. Upon seeing me, instead of offering any comfort, Xiao Yinian launched into a tirade. "Li Shuhua, can you not temper your spoiled, willful temperament? Wanru is not a legitimate daughter like you. Her life is already difficult enough without you bullying her. His eyes were filled with disappointment and anger. It's one thing for you to foolishly fall into the lake, but to drag Wanru down with you is unforgivable. You can float, but she cannot swim at all. Do you realize you nearly caused her death? Even though I was already disillusioned, his words struck a chilling blow to my heart. We had grown up together, sharing a bond since childhood, and had been betrothed as children. Even if he harbored no affection for me as his fiancé, he ought to show some mercy, considering our years of connection. Yet Xiao Yinian was merciless, repeatedly confronting me in favor of his half-sister, making me the object of public ridicule. He always criticized my supposed arrogance, seeing Li Wanru as a pitiable creature while deeming me lacking in gentleness and understanding. Especially after she had saved him a year ago, he had become even more protective of her. The capital now buzzed with rumors that he was dissatisfied with me, his childhood betrothed, and that his true affections lay with Li Wanru, portraying me as the villain disrupting their romance. Xiao Yinian, it was Li Wanru who tripped me, intending to push me into the lake. I merely pulled her down with me in my fall. I suppressed my rising fury, fixing him with a cold stare. He seemed to find my words preposterous, regarding me with incredulity. Wanru is the gentlest and most timid of souls. You have always tormented her. Who would believe such a claim? He frowned deeply, commanding, "You are to apologize to Wanru tomorrow. She has stated that if you do, she will not hold it against you." His tone was stern. "You will be my wife, and as my wife, you should embody the qualities of a virtuous woman like Wanru, not your spoiled self. If you persist in this behavior, do not blame me for neglecting you once we are wed." Weary of his obsessive disdain, I felt no inclination to defend myself further, responding flatly, "Apologizing to her is out of the question." Xiao Yinian seemed incensed by my obstinacy, dismissing me with a wave of his sleeve. "Take care of yourself and recuperate at home. Do not embarrass me further." For Li Wanru's mother was merely a lowly maid, and thus, she too was viewed with disdain by my father. Yet, she always feigned fragility, portraying herself as a victim of my supposed bullying. Each time, Xiao Yinian fortuitously witnessed my mistreatment of Li Wanru, oblivious to her schemes, falling for her ruse time and again. For this half-sister, he would scold me sharply, engaging in disputes on her behalf. "Mother, I no longer wish to marry Xiao Yinian," I declared resolutely one evening when my mother returned from her maternal family. She was taken aback, her brow furrowing in concern. "Shuhua, I have heard about today's events. Xiao Yinian was indeed excessive. But that little hussy and her mother are just as deceitful, always scheming to ensnare men." My mother's expression was filled with concern as she gently caressed my pale cheek, her teeth clenched in frustration. "Do not worry, I have spoken to your father. We will arrange for her marriage to coincide with yours, hastening her departure to prevent any further trouble." I shook my head, gazing earnestly into my mother's eyes. "No, I absolutely refuse to marry Xiao Yinian. Since he is so enamored with Li Wanru, and she is dissatisfied with her marriage while harboring feelings for Xiao Yinian, seeking to usurp this engagement from me, it is evident that they are mutually inclined towards one another. Why not play the benevolent role and facilitate their union?" I gazed at my mother's astonished countenance and offered a faint smile. "Mother, do converse with Aunt Lu and inquire whether they would be amenable to exchanging this marriage arrangement." Before long, a response arrived from their side. Aunt Lu was ecstatic, and upon hearing the news, Li Wanru was equally elated, as if she had consumed a miraculous elixir. The following day, she eagerly sought my confirmation. "Elder sister, I have heard that you are experiencing a slight fever. This medicine was delivered by Brother Yinian yesterday. He specifically procured it from the imperial physician. I have taken 2 doses and shall soon be able to rise. The effects are remarkable." Li Wanru, resembling a delicate willow, bore a pale visage that rendered her even more pitiable. I cast a glance at the 2 packets of medicine, my expression growing increasingly frigid. "There is no need for you to flaunt Xiao Yinian's kindness towards you. Is it not this marriage that you covet? I shall simply relinquish it to you. The wedding is scheduled for the 2nd day of next month, and the 2 of us shall wed together, seamlessly exchanging partners, thus bringing closure to this matter." Although my father harbored a deep disdain for Li Wanru's blemished reputation, he had not deliberately mistreated her. She was promised to the eldest son of a martial family, Pei Yuji, who was currently engaged in battle. While his official rank was modest, he was exceptionally talented, both in arts and martial skills. For a daughter of lesser birth like Li Wanru, it was already a significant elevation. Yet, her lofty ambitions led her to set her sights on my fiancé, and she had repeatedly attempted to entice Xiao Enian, which left me disheartened. With a facade of feigned vulnerability, Li Wanru stepped closer, lowering her voice. Elder sister, you are truly ineffectual. What does it matter that you have known Brother Enian longer? Is he not most fond of me? A slight smirk graced her lips. Having been seen in such a compromising position, how do you still find the audacity to live? If I were you, I would hasten to end my life in atonement, lacking any sense of shame. Her words ignited a tremor of anger within me. Yet, she swiftly shifted back to her meek demeanor, gazing at me with trepidation. Timidly,
she curtsied.
Elder sister, since you are still unwell, I shall not intrude further. I will come to visit you another day. Thus, the matter of the marriage exchange was settled. Both families commenced preparations for the grand wedding. Pei Yuji, still on the battlefield, would only return the day before the nuptials. Unexpectedly, Xiao Enian arrived with a retinue, carrying an impressive array of gifts. My father greeted him warmly. Why has Enian come again? Hasn't the betrothal gift already been presented? Only my mother, Li Wanru, and I were privy to the details of the marriage exchange. No one else was informed, lest complications arise. As for Li Wanru and her mother, fearing that the arrangement might falter, they were determined to keep it a secret, unwilling to divulge it to anyone. Xiao Enian hesitated for a moment, a hint of embarrassment crossing his face. Uncle has misunderstood. These gifts are not for the eldest daughter of the household, but rather for the second daughter. His gaze shifted to the newly arrived Li Wanru, his eyes softening. I hope the second daughter has recovered from her illness. Her complexion still appears somewhat pale. Once you have finished the medicine I brought, please send word, and I will procure more from the palace. You have saved my life. Should you encounter any grievances after marrying into the Pei family, do not hesitate to inform me, and I shall certainly advocate on your behalf. Li Wanru's cheeks flushed slightly. Glancing at the lavish gifts, she quickly gestured, Brother Enian, this is far too extravagant. I cannot accept it. She hesitated, casting a sidelong glance at me, lowering her gaze. Moreover, elder sister might become upset. I too examined the gifts, noting the laborious efforts of the attendants, and discerned that the contents were indeed substantial, no less than 108 loads. A cold smile crept into my heart. The betrothal gifts Xiao Enian had previously sent were a mere 88 loads, whereas for Li Wanru, he bestowed an astonishing 108 loads. My father's expression darkened. Xiao Enian, my eldest daughter is your fiancée. In a month's time, she shall be your wife. Why, then, do you present such lavish gifts to the second daughter? Xiao Enian frowned. The eldest daughter of the household lives in luxury, while Wanru is but a concubine's daughter, struggling to survive. I merely wish to assist her. These are mere trifles. He then turned to me, asserting, the eldest daughter, as my future wife, should not be so intolerant of such minor gestures. Once you are married, you must also look after Wanru. His presumptive tone infuriated me further. Why must I bear the burden of his gratitude? I tentatively suggested, since you do not favor me, perhaps we ought to annul our engagement. Upon hearing my words, Li Wanru's body visibly tensed, and she regarded him with palpable anxiety. What are you saying? Xiao Enian appeared momentarily taken aback, his brows knitting tightly. This marriage was arranged from childhood, and the entire capital is aware of it. With only a month until the wedding, how could one possibly break the engagement? His tone softened somewhat. I may have spoken too harshly last time, which perhaps caused you discomfort. Your temperament is rather proud, but I will strive to be understanding after our marriage. However, as Wanru has saved my life, do not bully her further. It is said that love extends to all associated. You are sisters, so for my sake, please take care of her. Li Wanru visibly relaxed, her face transforming into an expression of bashful gratitude. Yet, I caught the fleeting glint of triumph in her eyes as she lowered her gaze. I remained composed, abandoning the notion of directly proposing the annulment of our engagement. I understood this man too well. He was excessively arrogant and would never believe that I had truly lost interest in him. He would only perceive my actions as mere sulking and unreasonable tantrums. If I were to suggest the annulment, he would undoubtedly refuse, growing wary instead. It would be more prudent to allow the marriage exchange to proceed silently. Once it was established, it would be irreversible. As time passed slowly, both sides continued preparations for the wedding, perhaps out of guilt. Xiao Yinian frequently sought excuses to visit our estate, but I consistently found reasons to decline his presence. Meanwhile, Li Wanru adorned herself beautifully each time, relishing their meetings filled with delightful conversation. I surmised that they would undoubtedly find happiness in their marriage. One day, I received a letter from Pei Yuji at the border. On the very day Li Wanru consented to the marriage exchange, I had dispatched a messenger at full speed to inform him of the developments in detail. After all, the exchange concerned both families, and I had no desire to foster animosity in the future. Thus, it was prudent to notify him in advance. Upon unrolling the letter, I found it inscribed with a singular, elegant character. I traced my fingers lightly over it. The strokes were bold and forceful. It is said that a person's character is reflected in their handwriting, and even without having met him, I could discern aspects of his disposition. He was indeed a gallant general on the battlefield. I merely hoped he possessed a sense of responsibility. I did not seek harmonious melodies, but rather, I wished for him to be the antithesis of Xiao Yinian, who trampled upon his fiancée's dignity to elevate another. On that day, Aunt Lu gracefully approached me. Now that the decision to exchange brides has been made, the betrothal gifts and dowries must naturally be exchanged as well. My mother, upon hearing this, grew furious, scoffing. "We have no need for the betrothal gifts. They shall be returned to you. However, why should my daughter's dowry be given to a lowly creature such as yourself?" My dowry had been meticulously saved by my mother since my birth, comprising over 20 shops and 2 of the largest estates in the capital. My father had always favored me, adding 66 loads to my dowry. Madame Lu, being of humble servant origin, naturally could not prepare any dowry for Li Wanru. Her father merely provided the customary 33 portions of dowry befitting a concubine's daughter. Beyond that, there was nothing more. Xiao Yinian was acutely aware of this, which is why he made a grand gesture of sending over 108 pieces to enhance her reputation. Li Wanru, who followed closely, displayed no anger, instead offering a gentle smile. "Of course, a dowry is to be given to me. Otherwise, the truth would be revealed," she asserted with a hint of prideful menace. "Moreover, I believe my elder sister would not wish for me to inform Yinian of your plans to swap brides." My grip tightened, and I abruptly lifted my gaze to her. She had discerned my thoughts and wielded them as a threat, and I was indeed intimidated by her. With a cold expression, I replied, "Very well, it's merely material possessions. If you wish for them, take them." As long as I could swiftly rid myself of Xiao Yinian, I cared little for such trinkets. I had already retreated so far. Yet I did not wish to further inflate Li Wanru's ambition. With a beaming smile, she proposed, "In 10 days, I shall be wed, and after marriage, it will be inconvenient to roam about. Elder sister, accompany me for one last outing before my wedding." Although my father held no fondness for her, he found merit in her words and looked at me with affection. "Indeed, Shuhua, go out for a stroll." A sense of vigilance arose within me, yet I could not refuse. As we walked side by side down the street, I heard her lower her voice, thick with malice. "Li Shuhua, you cannot fathom how envious I am of you. Why is it that, as daughters of the same father, you can live so freely, while I must languish in the mire?" My heart jolted violently. Thus, if you were to perish, I would be the sole daughter of the Li family. Before I could fully comprehend her words, a group of burly ruffians emerged from nowhere. 6 or so men eyed me with malicious intent, their gazes roving over my form. Unbeknownst to me, our maidens and servants had long since vanished. At that moment, we fortuitously found ourselves at the mouth of a deserted alley. Li Wanru revealed a sinister grin, pointing at me. "Quick, this woman is yours to enjoy, after you've had your fun. Kill her and dispose of her body in the street." I struggled to believe it, an overwhelming chill enveloping my heart as I clenched my fists, torn between fear and anger. "Li Wanru, I am your legitimate sister." Despite my caution, I never anticipated her cruelty, nor did I fathom that she would resort to such humiliation and seek to eradicate me entirely. Yet Li Wanru was far too naive. These men not only surrounded me but also refused to spare her. Her fear began to manifest. Her small face turned pale, eyes wide with terror. "What are you doing?" "I instructed you to capture this woman. I am the one who hired you." Her bravado faltered, her voice trembling. "I warn you, should you dare lay a finger on me, my fiancé will not let you go." "Ha ha ha, we care not for your fiancé," one of the brutes retorted, stepping forward to yank her hair, his hand greedily caressing her cheek. "Ah, get away," Li Wanru cried out, her face drained of color, trembling with fright. "My elder sister is far more beautiful than I. She is the daughter of a noble family, delicate and fair, perfect for your amusement." Faced with the lecherous gazes of 4 or 5 men, my fear reached its zenith, yet I pulled a hairpin from my hair, forcing myself to remain composed. I struck one of the ruffians on the back of his hand. Enraged, he swung at me, sending me crashing against the wall, stars dancing before my eyes. Warm blood trickled down my forehead, the world fading to crimson and darkness. At that critical moment, a man's furious voice pierced through the chaos. "Stop!" Xiao Enian leaped from his horse, fury etched on his face, as he surveyed the scene. "Enian, save me." Upon seeing him, Li Wanru's tears flowed freely as she cried out, her attire disheveled, her hairpin scattered, looking utterly disheveled. I leaned against the wall, barely able to open my eyes. Yet I caught a glimpse of him. In that instant, a flicker of hope ignited within me. I still trusted that Xiao Enian would come to my rescue. Xiao Enian, skilled in combat, swiftly dispatched 3 of the ruffians. The remaining 2, sensing the tide turning, seized both Li Wanru and me. They gripped our hair tightly. "Look at you 2 struggling. Which one of you is the little lover? I'll offer you a chance. Return your lover to you, and we shall keep the other." Blood continued to trickle down my face, staining my features crimson. I could barely lift my head, my strength waning. Yet, upon hearing those words, a chill gripped my heart. Li Wanru had already begun to wail. "Enian, it was Li Shuhua who hired these men to ruin my honor and silence me." Tears streamed down her cheeks as she cried, "Please save me. I am so afraid." The ruffian holding us paused, then burst into laughter, pointing at me with malicious glee. "Indeed, she is the one who hired us. We didn't expect you to show up." "No, it's not me." I desperately lifted my head, my gaze fierce as I locked eyes with the man opposite me. With labored breaths, I pleaded, "Xiao Enian, I beg you, save me. I could not die. I could not bear to leave my parents, nor could I accept being a victim of such treachery and die in vain. If I fell into their hands, not only would I lose my life, but I would also suffer the utmost humiliation." At that moment, I truly felt fear. My eyes beseeched Xiao Enian, my voice trembling. "Consider our years of friendship. I implore you." Xiao Enian's fists clenched tightly, his body tense, his lips pressed together. It seemed my gaze had scorched him. He averted his eyes slightly, causing my heart to plummet. "Shuhua, I am sorry." The man closed his eyes, and when he opened them again, he regarded me with a deep sense of guilt and reluctance. "Wanru is too gentle. She cannot endure this. You are resilient. Do not worry, no matter what happens. I will not turn my back on you, and our wedding will proceed as planned. I choose Wanru." Li Wanru's face lit up with joy. A mixture of tears and laughter as she exclaimed, "Did you hear that? Enian chose me. Hurry and release me." The glimmer of hope in my eyes faded into despair, and I let out a self-deprecating laugh, my voice soaked in sorrow. "Ha ha ha, Xiao Enian, how cruel you are." Unbeknownst to me, tears had already begun to fall. The world before me blurred, yet I fixed my gaze upon his figure. After more than a decade of shared bonds, I would not even part with a pet. Yet here I stand, discarded without hesitation by my fiancé. Xiao Enian opened his mouth as if to say something, but ultimately could only clench his fists in resignation. He turned his gaze away, his voice laced with regret. "I have wronged you, but Shuhua, do not fear. No matter what transpires, I will not forsake you. I vow to you that I will never take a concubine and will treat you well for all my days." His eyes turned cold as he faced the 2 ruffians. "You shall not harm her, or I will pursue you and your families for vengeance, regardless of the cost." The ruffian shoved Li Wanru toward him. Xiao Enian embraced her tightly, while she trembled in his arms, sobbing, "Enian, I am so scared." The last thing I saw was the 2 of them entwined, as I was forcibly taken away by the ruffian. Horses had long been prepared behind the wall, and I was swiftly mounted, galloping away. Darkness enveloped me completely, and despair filled my heart. After a day and a night, I finally returned home. My mother, with tear-swollen eyes, stumbled out and enveloped me in her embrace. Wu-wu, Shuhua, my Shuhua. She raised her trembling hand to touch my face. Do not be afraid. You are back. That's all that matters. Everything else pales in comparison. I am here for you. After a day and a night, my attire was disheveled, and my hair was a wild tangle, stained with blood, a harrowing sight. My eyes stung with tears, and I immediately collapsed into her arms, weeping uncontrollably. In that moment, I had no words. I simply wished to hold my mother and cry. Mother, I am fine. Pei Yuji saved me. It was he who arranged for my return. How naive was Xiao Yinian? He actually believed those two ruffians would spare my life. Just after leaving the city, those two men had no intention of doing anything but silencing me. At the critical moment, I was rescued by Pei Yuji, who had just returned to the city. Xiao Yinian was not naive. He merely deceived himself, as I clearly held little significance in his heart. The news of my misfortune and loss of innocence had spread throughout the city. It all stemmed from the moment Xiao Yinian was seen returning with Li Wanru in his arms, which sparked the rumors. He himself had proclaimed that the one he held was me. Shuhua encountered ill fate and was injured, and fortuitously, I saved her. Upon receiving news of my return, Xiao Yinian hurried over. In just a day's absence, he appeared haggard, with stubble darkening his chin. Upon seeing me, his expression brightened, and he hurried a few steps closer. Shuhua, it's wonderful that you are back. He scrutinized me from head to toe, his voice hoarse and strained. It's a relief to see you safe. I was so worried. I stared at him with an impassive expression, my heart now as tranquil as still water, and I mocked. Are you disappointed to see that I am still alive? Xiao Yinian, your feelings for Li Wanru are truly profound, to the extent that you would ruin your fiancé's reputation to preserve hers. Xiao Yinian stiffened at my words, his brow furrowing in helplessness. Shuhua, do not speak recklessly. From the beginning, I have only ever wished to marry you. It is just that Wanru once saved my life, and I feel it is only right to care for her a little more. He noticed the complexity in my gaze and, filled with remorse, added, Shuhua, our wedding is in 3 days. Let bygones be bygones, and let us move forward and live well. With a soothing expression, he continued, do not pay heed to the rumors in the capital. Once we are married, I will request a transfer to Jiangnan for official duties, where we can start anew, and no one will know you. In our more than 10 years of acquaintance, I have only ever cared for you. No matter what you have endured, I will not turn away, but will love and protect you. He believed that I had lost my innocence. I was too weary to engage in further conversation or explanation. I merely replied, very well, I shall await our wedding in 3 days. Both Li Wanru and I faced misfortune simultaneously, and my father, burdened with guilt, arranged for an extravagant wedding. The residence was adorned with crimson silk, celebrating the marriage of 2 daughters. Xiao Yinian and Pei Yuji, both young talents returning to the capital, were strikingly handsome in their bright red wedding attire, gallantly mounted and drawing admiration from the onlookers. What a joyous occasion! To have 2 such exceptional sons-in-law is indeed fortunate and enviable. Enviable? You do not know that the eldest daughter has long lost her innocence. I wonder how much anguish this young Master Xiao must feel, marrying someone with a tarnished reputation. What? When did this happen? A bystander, unaware of recent events, inquired earnestly. That day, young Master Xiao was seen carrying the eldest daughter back, disheveled and bloodied. If it were me, I would have called off the engagement with such a fiancé. On horseback, Xiao Yinian tightened his grip on the reins, his posture rigid. Pei Yuji glanced at him, a hint of mockery crossing his otherwise gentle features. Young Master Xiao, I have heard that you have taken great care of my fiancé, even to the extent of sacrificing the reputation of your own fiancé for hers. He inclined his head slightly in a gesture of mock respect. Such noble sacrifice for the sake of another's fiancé, I could never achieve. Xiao Yinian's frame tensed further, clenched teeth betraying his agitation. The second daughter saved my life, and as Shuhua's younger sister, I cherish her as my own. It is only right that I repay her kindness. No thanks are needed. He turned to Pei Yuji, saying, the second daughter is gentle-natured and, being a concubine's child, harbors some insecurities. I hope that in the future, you'll treat her well and not mistreat her. Otherwise, should I learn of any wrongs done to her, I will not hesitate to seek retribution. Pei Yuji's warm gaze held a deeper mockery as he turned away. Having donned our wedding garments, Li Wanru and I emerged from the estate, supported by our maids, our heads adorned with red veils. All I could see was the vibrant red of my skirt as we slowly made our way toward the bridal sedan. Xiao Yinyan's gaze was fixed intently on Li Wanru before he dismounted and took her hand gently. Be careful of your footing. I walked past him. Pei Yuji also dismounted and took my hand, his voice soothing. Come, let me help you into the sedan. I nodded lightly. Once we were both inside the sedan, Xiao Yinyan approached and paused beside us. The maids, aware of the situation, grew anxious and lowered their heads. Pei Yuji's expression shifted slightly, but he remained still. Xiao Yinyan, oblivious to the tension, leaned in closer, speaking softly. Sister Wanru, if you find yourself unhappy after the marriage or face any difficulties, do not hesitate to send word to me or your elder sister. We are family, and we should support one another. You saved my life, but now that I am married to Xu Hua, I cannot always intervene. Sitting upright within the sedan, I listened to his overly considerate words, a cold smile forming within me. How heartwarming. After more than a decade of knowing him, he had never shown me such tenderness. To avoid raising suspicion, I lightly tapped on the sedan 3 times in response. Indeed, Xiao Yinyan suspected nothing. Those in the know quietly exhaled, their expressions complex as they regarded him. Pei Yuji's lips curled into a subtle smile as he mounted his horse. He remarked meaningfully, Young Master Xiao has indeed achieved his wishes. Congratulations. The 2 bridal parties set off in opposite directions, fully separating. As the red veil was lifted, the man before me bore gentle features, though his complexion was slightly darker from years spent on the frontier, lending him a rugged charm. You must be weary today, Pei Yuji said, settling beside me. We had exchanged letters frequently over the past month, and given his prior act of saving my life, he felt less like a stranger. I am fine, I replied, though my cheeks flushed slightly, an unnatural gaze cast downward. The man smiled softly, his voice reassuring. Do not be anxious. Our family does not take concubines. Now that we are married, I wish to be a good husband to you. As for the rumors in the capital, do not fret. I will request to be stationed at the border, and it is likely we will not return for over a decade. There, the skies are vast, and you may live as you please. Warmth spread through my heart. Yes, I will accompany you to the border. Xiao Yinyan stood in a daze. Disbelief etched across his face as he gazed at the woman on his bed. All the memories of the previous night flooded back. His eyes were bloodshot, and with a voice laced with fury, he demanded, What is the meaning of this? How could it be you? The hangover from the previous night had left him with a splitting headache. On the bed, Li Wanru lay wrapped in blankets, trembling, her pale face betraying her distress. Through tears, she explained, Husband, the chaos of yesterday led me and my sister to mistakenly enter the wrong bridal sedan. However, given the circumstances, there is no turning back. Besides, do you not have a fondness for elder sister? Her virtue has been tarnished. And Pei Yuji is but a man of humble origins who dares not speak against it. This arrangement seems mutually beneficial, does it not? Initially stunned, Xiao Yinyan was soon consumed by rage. An intense fire burned within him, mingled with confusion. His fists clenched tightly, veins bulging at his temples, and with bloodshot eyes. He bellowed, I have always intended to marry only Xu Hua. The thought of Xu Hua now belonging to another sent a sharp pang through his heart. From the moment he became aware, he had known Xu Hua was destined to be his wife. He had always presumed their union was inevitable, never entertaining the notion of a different fate. No longer able to wait, Xiao Yinyan hastily donned his clothing, mounted his horse, and galloped to the Pei residence. Pei Yuji, come out. Return Xu Hua to me. He pounded on the door with a fierce determination, his fury reaching its peak. Pei Yuji. The door opened, revealing both myself and Pei Yuji, dressed in vibrant red, the same hue as the wedding attire from the previous night. Upon seeing us, Xiao Yinyan's expression shifted drastically. Trembling, he clenched his fists. Xu Hua, come with me. This is a mistake. You should be marrying me. He reached out, but I stepped back, evading his grasp. My gaze cold and indifferent. Please, Master Xiao, maintain your dignity. The man froze, his hand suspended in midair, disbelief etched across his face. He took a deep breath, his tone urgent. "Shuhua, I do not comprehend how you and Li Wanru ended up in the wrong sedan, but it matters not. We can rectify this before it escalates. This is no mistake. I was the one who suggested we switch places with Li Wanru. You claim to care for her, do you not? Marrying her would be a way to repay her for saving your life." I regarded his frantic demeanor with amusement. Beside me, Pei Yuji smirked, taking my hand and kissing it in front of Xiao Inian. "Master Xiao, the wedding ceremony has concluded, and Shuhua and I are now truly husband and wife. We are both satisfied with one another, and thus our union is settled. Even from the border, I have heard of your protection over your wife, enduring various hardships for her. Now, you have achieved your desire to marry her. Why the uproar?" Xiao Inian's eyes blazed with incredulity, as if he could scarcely believe what he was hearing. He shouted in anger, "Did you conspire to switch brides? I refuse to believe this. It is impossible." His emotion surged, his gaze fixed on Pei Yuji with hostility. "Did you threaten Shuhua or force her to say such things?" He could not accept her words, nor the reality that his beloved Shuhua had chosen another. "Nobody threatened me. I simply no longer want you." I stepped forward, positioning myself protectively in front of Pei Yuji. Our hands intertwined. My eyes were filled with scorn. "You have repeatedly made me suffer for Li Wanru, even risking my life and virtue to save her. Do you truly believe I would ever marry you? Since you two are so intent on one another, I have granted you your wish. What more do you desire? Today marks the first day of our wedding, Master Xiao. You should return to your wife. Pei Yuji and I will soon depart for the border, and we have no time to entertain you." Pei Yuji concluded with a smile, turning to lead me back inside, offering Xiao Inian no further glance.
"No, Shuhua.
Come back with me." Xiao Inian's eyes were red-rimmed, and in a fit of rage, he attempted to rush inside, only to be halted by the guards. The Pei residence guards, seasoned veterans of battle, swiftly subdued him, mercilessly beating him. The scorching sun blazed overhead as two guards tossed the bruised Xiao Inian onto the street. One scoffing, "You worthless man, entangled with your fiancé's sister while you already have a betrothed? How shameless!" The other, still unsatisfied, kicked him again. "Do not disturb our general's wife again. Speak out of turn, and you shall receive a beating." Today, the emperor had issued a decree. With Pei Yuji's distinguished military achievements, he was promoted to the rank of a first-class general. Xiao Inian lay sprawled on the ground, his clothes soiled and marked with footprints. The relentless sun bore down upon him, yet he felt as if he were trapped in an icy abyss, experiencing humiliation like never before. Surrounding townsfolk gathered, whispering and pointing. How pitiful! He has a fiancée, yet cannot let go of a woman who is no longer his. An elderly woman angrily hurled vegetable scraps at him. "That girl has found her rightful place. You should leave her alone." Among the crowd, a lecherous young man leered at me with inappropriate intent. Another, seeking to vent his own frustrations, kicked Xiao Inian once more. He remained motionless, his body limp against the ground, biting his lip to stifle the pain in his heart. How had everything spiraled into this? He had never intended to marry Li Wanru, yet now she was another man's wife. Upon learning of my plight, Pei Yuji sought vengeance for me. The following day, he presented evidence of Xiao Inian's family's wrongdoings to the emperor, who was enraged upon review. He ordered the exile of every member of the household, including infants, to Ninguda, never to return. Simultaneously, evidence of Li Wanru's conspiracy to harm me was submitted to the authorities, leading to her arrest. Given the severity of the situation and the irrefutable evidence, she was sentenced to execution. On the day Pei Yuji and I set off for the border, we unexpectedly encountered the exiled Xiao family, their ranks consisting of old and young alike. At the forefront stood Xiao Inian, shackled and clad in tattered garments, his spirit seemingly extinguished, resembling a marionette devoid of life. "Make way. The general returns to the border. Anyone who obstructs the general or his family will face dire consequences." The officer in charge lashed Xiao Inian with a whip. "Keep your focus and move aside." The whip left a bloody mark on his pale skin. He bit down on his lip, his gaze fixed on our procession. I remained within the carriage, Pei Yuji standing guard beside me, never once lifting the curtain to glance outside. Xiao Inian's eyes remained locked on the carriage, missing the chance to catch a glimpse of the woman he had not forgotten as we passed by without acknowledgement. The story concludes here. Thank you for listening, and we shall meet again for the next tale.